Good morning and welcome. Happy Wednesday. I had to think about that. I was going to make it Tuesday again. A little bit of Groundhog's Day going on. And I have my happy little light beam shining right into my brain. I just think that is strange. Some camera angles show it, some camera angles do not. Today we get the brain probe. Good morning to whomever just popped on. Nancy, good morning, good morning. You're the first one here today. Glad to see you. I will admit we have a strange card today. Given our times, a very strange card. This deck, I was also thinking as this was the deck that presented itself. Good morning, Barb. Welcome. Glad you are here. There were years, literally years, excuse me, that this deck sat on the shelf right over here. See all those decks? Yep. Sat right there and never was presented as the deck for the day. Years. Lately, it's been coming up all over the place. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Welcome. It looks like there's actually someone else here too whose name is not rolling, but glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And there you are. Glad you're here. Good morning. I just find it so interesting, strange, confirming. Good morning, Miss Jonille. That now we see this deck all the time. All the time. So that leads inquiring minds to say, why now? Why now? My opinion is, I'll just show you the cover of the deck too. This deck was way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. So there wasn't much energy. Good morning, good morning. What's your temperature? We're actually having a heat wave here. We got up to 36, 37 yesterday. Oh, yeah, it was fabulous. A lot of snow melted. We still have entirely white cover, but today is supposed to be warm as well. And then we start getting into some either rainy, sleety, slushy, whatever days coming. So ice everywhere in the UP. Not surprised. And I talked to my Uper friends yesterday on our coffee call, and they were talking about how much snow they have, that they've actually bored a tunnel where the sidewalk is to get to the house. So you're surrounded on both sides by snow. Yeah, we don't have that much, but welcome to the Yoop. Anywho, I just find it fascinating that this deck is showing up so much these days. And I do find it comforting. I do find it comforting because the messages, especially today's message, A, it's going to blow your mind. And B, I think it's going to help shift the perspective so we can get grounded in a better direction. 57. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's unusual for you guys. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. So, I'm going to plant the seed ahead of time. What I would like to hear from all of you in the feed or privately, whatever you're most comfortable with, is what do you make of this reading today? What do you make of this reading? Because I read it and my thought process is, yeah, I can see that, but the method sucks. The method just sucks here. So I would love to hear what you have to say. So Oracle of E deck, let's do a little tapping and some breath. Grounding ourselves to right here, right now. Fully encased in our bodies, embodied. This isn't just a vehicle to move your mind around. It is your being. Let's really embrace it. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow the tapping down. Slow the breath down. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Notice how much more you can pay attention to when you slow down. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Notice if you have a visceral reaction to me saying, slow down. I always had a visceral reaction to someone telling me to slow down, calm down, settle down, or as my grandmother would say, who still had quite the German accent, be still, be still. It was a good thought, but as a little hyperkinetic kid, not so easy, kind of a torture. One more for good measure. So, this card that made me take pause and go, say what? Say what? Wrecking ball. Wrecking ball. And look at the image. Notice what the image does to you and for you. It reminds me of something we've seen recently. See if you notice. What does it remind you of, that image? Wrecking ball. Again, I think it is absolutely bizarre that this card came up. But here are the words, and then please put in the feed, if you're willing, your first thought. What first comes to your mind when you hear this? Wrecking ball. Psst. Just so you know, a wrecking ball is not necessarily a sign of destruction. It's more like a blessed invitation for brand new, exciting things to blossom. All you need to do is change your perspective. Let's get this renovation started. Is that not a mind blower? Oi, oi, oi. So, first thing that comes to me out of all of this is, I'm going to say it bluntly, rather than smashing shit, I like to see a well thought out dismantlement of what doesn't work and modifications, renovation ensuing. Other people obviously like to smash shit. So, how do we respond, not react, respond to different ways of being about how to modify things? I think things can also be, how do I want to say this? Intent matters. Intent matters. What is our purpose, our reason for dismantling or smashing? You hear hope. Cool. Cool, cool. Oh, and my magic number 8. There's 8 of you on here right now with me. Hang on, let me see where we're meant to go. Oftentimes, things may come to us in packages we don't appreciate. Good morning, Miss Mary. Are you guys off of school again? Oh my goodness. You're going to have days to make up in the spring at this rate. Thank you for the coffee. But what I'm hearing is messenger. How often do we kill the messenger breaking through? There we go. Awesome. When we're hearing something we don't want to hear. So I think what we're hearing that we don't want to hear is much of the systems that we operate under are irrevocably broken, and far too easy for certain people to take advantage of. And I think we have the current example, artificial intelligence, which speaks volumes about potential, but potential that can also run amok because we have not thought it through well enough, taken the time to put up the guardrails necessary for it to become enhancing instead of detracting, damaging, harmful, etc. Good morning, Maureen. Glad you are here. Another opportunity for humans in particular to learn what happens when we allow innovation to get out ahead of morality, integrity, even rationality, even some rationality. So I'm reading, let me grab it. Hang on. Hold, please. The more books I read from this man, the more amazed I am. Good morning, Melanie. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. Matt Haig. This one is Notes on a Nervous Planet. Notes on a Nervous Planet. And let me just check when it was actually published. It is so prescient, I can't even tell you. Where is it? Penguin Books. 2018. 2018. So some of the shit was already jumping off at that point in time, but he talks very... So here's just a little bit. The world is messing with our minds. Rates of stress and anxiety are rising. A fast, nervous planet is creating fast and nervous lives. We are more connected, and yet we feel more alone. And we are encouraged to worry about everything from world politics to our body mass index. How can we stay sane on a planet that makes us mad? How can we stay human in a technological world? How do we feel happy when we are encouraged to be anxious? Such a good book. Such a good book. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. And he's the same one who wrote the memoir about crashing into mental illness and panic disorder. And he did the best job I've ever seen or read of describing panic disorder and what it does to you internally and to your life. So, highly recommend. Anywho, here we are. We're living it. We are living it. And I think we're coming to, you know how a wrecking ball swings, right? It only goes so far. It causes a bunch of damage, or I'm still going to use the word destruction, because whatever it is that it's making contact with gets destroyed. Yes, it can be replaced with something. May not necessarily be as historically wonderful as what was there, but nonetheless, and then it swings back. It swings back. So I feel like we are, within the next little while, getting to the end of the swing, and it will be coming back. And to be prepared, how do we wish to, right now, one of the things that I am seeing is this tremendous call on the parts of many, 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 many people to stir the masses. To stir the masses. What is our opinion? You, John Q. Public. You, Jane Doe. What is your opinion? What do you want? Are you willing to stand for it? Etc., etc., etc. And far fewer voices, but still an impressive number of voices saying, I'm willing to lose these things that I've worked so hard for in order to stand for what I believe is right, to maintain my integrity, to maintain my commitment to the things that I committed to, the Constitution, whatever. Okay? So these are our opportunities. Even this card, Wrecking Ball, is our opportunity to check in with ourselves. Okay, self, what do you think of this? How do you feel about this? What are you willing or not willing to do? You saw a divine light in the picture on the card. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I just think it's so interesting. So I want to read it again. Let's take the breath that opens up our intuition, that opens up our humanity, our willingness to hear. Breathe in, breathe out. Wrecking Ball. Psst. Just so you know, A wrecking ball is not necessarily a sign of destruction. It's more like a blessed invitation for brand new, exciting things to blossom. All you need to do is change your perspective. Let's get this renovation started. We need to make changes with love and kindness. Yes, yes, yes. So what's dropping in for me now is, can you hear me now? Perceptual shift, perspective shift. I'm going to pose a provocative question here. If some of what's unfolding now hadn't unfolded, how long would we have been willing to be complacent with what clearly wasn't working? How long would we have been willing to put up with systems, let's take the healthcare system, shall we, that do not serve many, many, many people? And how long would we have put up with it as it was at the cost of vulnerable people? How long would we have put up with that? My sense is for a long time, because especially if it's not biting us in the ass, we don't necessarily have the same kind of fervor now that we're hearing, okay, our former allies might be pointing weapons at us now to defend themselves against us. What the hell is happening here, right? Did it need to get this bad? Or could we make the changes with love and kindness? Can we now start making the changes with love and kindness instead of mass destruction, bullying, all the words? You know the words. We all know the words. So, and hopefully more of us are beginning to speak up. Speak up. Wait a minute. This is not acceptable. This is not how I want to see us do things. So, yeah, wrecking ball. Again, I just thought this was such an interesting card. Provocative, oh my goodness, right? Poke, poke, poke. Pushing us into discomfort. And where does most change happen? Where does the vast majority of change happen? In discomfort. In discomfort. So, love to hear more of your comments. These are great comments. Absolutely what I would think many of us would think. And kind of ask yourself the question also, where am I willing to take a stand on all of this? It might be being that person who emanates love and kindness in little situations every day, however it comes across. So, have an awesome day. Have an awesome thought-provoking day. Might be a feeling-provoking day as well. We shall see. But have an awesome day. Remember, we are capable of far more than we think we are. Bye-bye.